It's Thursday, March 26, 2020, and here's what's happening. As of last update, there are no new confirmed cases of COVID-19 locally, although the number of those under some type of quarantine is up. Plus, Jamestown's mayor joins us live with an update on the city's effort to contain the pandemic and how they're trying to help local businesses that are affected.
Well, the sun is out right now, but that won't be staying that way for long. Clouds will be returning this afternoon and especially over the weekend. I've got the full forecast coming up on News Now at noon, which starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story, the number of those under some type of quarantine in Chautauqua County has increased as officials continue to work to contain the novel coronavirus outbreak. Yesterday, county health officials announced that 21 people are now under a precautionary quarantine, that number up from 12 the day before. As of the last update, only 3 people in the county are confirmed to have the virus, 2 in northern Chautauqua County and 1 in the Asheville area. Although county health officials say more cases are likely as testing results come in. Officials say the only way we can protect our community and healthcare system from becoming overwhelmed with illness as a result of this virus is to avoid being exposed. The best way to do that is by practicing good social distancing, washing hands often, and cleaning surfaces. If someone is sick, they should stay home and contact their doctor. Well, many of our viewers have reached out to us with concerns that inmates from the Chautauqua County Jail have been released and that they were possibly released because of this coronavirus outbreak. Well, we reached out to Sheriff Jim Quattrone today. He tells us that inmates have indeed been released. He says, however, that they haven't been released because of the outbreak.
We have not released anybody from the jail due to coronavirus. The courts have released people from the jail after a careful evaluation of their records, their charges, and as a precautionary in case anything were to come into the jail. So we would have lower numbers, and by doing that,
anyone coming into our ED with respiratory.
We have not released anybody from the jail to be better at having social distancing amongst the inmates, but it has not been as a result of a COVID-19 outbreak or anything like that.
Now, for more on the precautions that the sheriff's office has taken, we have a full web story right now at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, bipartisanship. Just before midnight in our nation's capital, the Senate has approved one of the largest emergency aid packages in our nation's history. John Lawrence has more.
The nays are 0. The 60-vote threshold having been achieved, the bill is passed.
The American people have 2 trillion reasons to feel a little more comfortable about the U.S. economy. That's the amount of the stimulus package the Senate passed Wednesday night.
It's a historic day because it matches a historic crisis.
It includes $250 billion for direct payments to individuals and families, another $250 billion in unemployment insurance benefits, $350 billion for small business loans, and $500 billion in loans for distressed corporations.
The Senate has pivoted from one of the most contentious, partisan periods in the nation's history to passing this rescue package.
It now goes to the House of Representatives for a vote, which will most likely happen on Friday. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
All right, John, thank you. Now, under the plan, individuals who earn $75,000 in adjusted gross income or less would get direct payments of $1,200 each, with married couples earning up to $150,000 receiving $2,400 and an additional $500 per child. The payment would scale down by income, phasing out entirely at $99,000 for singles and $198,000 for couples without children. Now, in addition, the bill would provide a major amount of funding for hard-hit hospitals, as well as $150 billion for state and local governments that are cash-strapped due to their response to coronavirus. President Trump has indicated that he'll sign this legislation into law once it makes it through the U.S. House of Representatives. Well, a local container rental company is helping UPMC Chautauqua Hospital here in Jamestown prepare for an increase in patients caused by the novel coronavirus pandemic. JRSC Express donated 2 of their storage container rentals on Wednesday to give the hospital more space to store furniture and unused equipment. Now, last week, the hospital announced they're restricting visitation in an attempt to protect patients against the virus. The hospital's chief nursing officer says, in addition to limiting visitor contact, a complex process for screening patients is also in effect.
Anyone coming into our ED with respiratory symptoms would be masked, and they would be taken back to one of our ED rooms. There is a pretty rigorous screening process that we work through because we want to get the right care to the patient.
Now, since the outbreak, the hospital has set up a yellow containment tent near the ambulance emergency entrance. Chautauqua County health officials say because there remains a shortage of COVID-19 testing kits, generally only patients who exhibit severe symptoms will be tested. Furthermore, officials say it is hard to properly keep track of COVID testing, although they are made aware of confirmed tests. Health experts continue to stress the importance of following the precautionary guidelines and social gathering regulations that they have put out. Well, in other non-coronavirus news, Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson will seek a second bid as the county's top prosecutor. Swanson confirmed that to WNY News Now's Matt Hummel yesterday. The Fredonia native tells us that he has more he wants to accomplish to ensure his office can work effectively to serve the residents of Chautauqua County.
4 years is a pretty short period of time to get what you want done. We've begun to move the office in a direction that is a more structured, professional type office where you have areas carved out for people with unique skills to handle the kinds of cases where their strengths seem to fall.
Now, as of broadcast time, no potential challengers have officially made an announcement yet. Well, hopefully everybody is having a good day, and we thank you so much for joining us here on WNY News Now as we continue to put facts over fear in the community and trying to keep you updated on the local coronavirus outbreak. Gotta say hello to Alan. Hopefully you're doing well. Hello to Elsa, Robert, David, Joseph, Wendy, Cindy as well. Hopefully you're all having a good afternoon, and we thank you for being here with us. Alan says those on Social Security should still be getting their monthly payments. I don't think they're involved because their money should have never stopped. Not 100% that would make sense. And you're correct. Those who are on some sort of public assistance or things like that are not expected to be getting these types of payments. Only those who have filed an income tax in the last tax reporting year would be getting these types of payments, and that depends on how much money you file. If you want the full breakdown, because it is a little bit confusing, we have an article posted right now on our mobile app and WNYNewsNow.com that explains all that you need to know, because it is very important, especially with a lot of people out of work. $1,000 or more could really go a long way in that effort. Well, let's switch gears and get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us now, and happy Thursday to you, Dakota. I'm so happy because it is like spring out there. Absolutely beautiful. It is.
I know. I mean, it is. I mean, even this morning when I got up and got here this morning, it actually was pretty mild, and I got here at around 8 o'clock this morning, and it was pretty mild even at 8 o'clock. And you can see here on the satellite and radar composite, this is actually the Buffalo radar that actually has the satellite data on top of it. It's not the national radar. So, but you can see no rain over the past several hours and really not a whole lot of clouds, but there's a few high clouds drifting in across the southern tier, but the clouds will be thickening up from west to east this afternoon as a cold front starts to move our way. That'll actually move our way tonight. Beautiful sunshine downtown, just a few high clouds dotting the sky right now. We are at 55, Sammy Hagar. I can't drive 55. Southwest wind to 14 with a wind gust of 18 miles per hour currently at the airport. Man, it is so nice out there, but the clouds again will be thickening up, but hey, the warmer temperatures will stay, and it was warm yesterday. 50 was the official high. 35 actually, was the below this morning, and 82 and 7 above zero are in the record books for today. And the sunset time, where the days are continuing to get longer, 7:37 jet will be the sunset time tonight, and then 7:43 by the time we head into Wednesday. So here it is through the afternoon. Mostly sunny early, clouds increase from west to east, very mild and breezy, 54 at the immediate Lake Erie waterfront, spiking to 63 while inland with a southwest wind 10 to 20. Wind gusts could be near 30 miles an hour. Rain returns tonight with that cold front, but bigger story will be the weekend. More rain, and it could be a soaker. We'll talk about it and more in just a few minutes. Jay?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Coming up next, Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist joins us live with an update on the city's COVID-19 response. That and more. Stay with us.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
This is Christine Schuyler, Chautauqua County Public Health Director, with a very important message. We need you to make every effort to protect yourselves and our healthcare workers. If you absolutely don't need to go out, don't. If you have a mild cold or flu-like symptoms, with or without a fever, stay home. If your symptoms are severe, call your healthcare provider. Do not go to the emergency room or urgent care. Do not call 911 or go to the ER unless you are experiencing a life-threatening emergency. The best ways you can help prevent the spread of COVID-19 are to wash your hands often with soap and water, cover your cough, avoid close contact with others. Please stay home.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Joining us live is Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist with more on how the city is responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mayor, we thank you so much for being here today. We know you're busy and we appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate being here. Thanks so much for having me today.
Well, a lot has changed over the last week here locally. First off, I want to ask you, what has been your role in the area's response to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, as mayor of the city of Jamestown, my number one concern is all of our residents and businesses here in the city of Jamestown. So to make sure that we don't have panic, to make sure that we are over-prepared to deal with anything that may come our way in the city has been my motto and the thing that I've tried to do since day one. So my role has been coordinating our teams, coordinating our departments, and ensuring that our residents know exactly what they need to do and how they need to do it.
So again, can you remind us what are those tips that we should be looking out for as we try to live this modified life that has unfolded here?
Well, the number one thing is to stop the spread of this virus. So we're asking people to the extent that they can, stay home. If you need essential things like going to the grocery store, maintain distance between people. We are encouraging people to, if they're able to, go out, walk around, maintain your distance, use our parks. There's a lot of space. The city of Jamestown has an incredible amount of over 500 acres of parkland. But more importantly, we want people just to make sure they maintain their distance, make sure they're washing their hands, and they're staying healthy.
Now, it seems like communication is key. Have you gotten a lot of feedback from community members amid this outbreak and these new lifestyle changes and business changes that have come from Albany?
Absolutely. My staff and I field phone calls, social media messages, email messages pretty much every day. And we're really working with our residents and with our businesses to comply with the changes from the governor's office and from the county. I would say once the governor reduced the workforce, we maybe had about 200 phone calls, emails, messages on social media that we responded to each and every one to make sure our residents and our businesses know what's going on.
Now, for those businesses, it seems like there's a lot of companies out there who have worked to adapt to these new regulations. Restaurants specifically, I know, are trying things like curbside pickup. Is there anything that we can do to continue to help these businesses stay open?
One of the biggest things is to support those businesses during this time of need. They're just trying to survive like the rest of us. And, for those that are working from home and still have income, we want to encourage you to use the curbside service, to use the takeout services. A lot of those restaurants have been there for us throughout the community. They've supported our different games and activities and causes. Now's the time for us to step up and continue to help them during this time.
Now, this week, your office urged area manufacturers to try to work together to fill what will eventually be a local shortage of personal protective equipment and other related supplies. Have you received any feedback from those manufacturers?
We've received a good number of phone calls and messages from manufacturers, all creating different components or willing to retool their operations. The city is working hand in hand with the chamber and with the Chautauqua County IDA in order to field those calls to make sure that we connect businesses and, more importantly, get those businesses in front of the governor's office if indeed there's an opportunity to retool and really answer the call to help the rest of the state.
And I imagine as the weather starts to get nicer, and I know we touched on it a minute ago here, a lot of people will probably want to get outside and enjoy some of the city's beautiful parks. So I ask you, is that still encouraged and okay to do?
We absolutely do encourage and allow our residents to use those parks, but the one thing we want to encourage everyone is to maintain your distance. Definitely be careful what you're touching and where you're going. More importantly, it's better for you to use the parks to go for a walk or to walk the dog or just to enjoy each other. But maintain your distance, and that's the key here.
Now, in regard to the parks and city workers, how have officials adapted to try to stay safe during this time?
Well, we've reduced our non-essential workforce by 100% here in the city of Jamestown. We wanted to make sure that we led by example. A lot of our employees are either working from home or are staying home like we've asked them to do to help prevent any further spread. It's definitely an issue here in the city as we are public servants. Our main goal is to serve the public and to be out there working on the streets and to help people. It's really hard for us to do, and it's hard for our employees not to do when that's all they really know, which is helping our residents.
So speaking of street crews and DPW, will we still see road work during this time, or for right now, is that kind of suspended?
We've received word from the governor's office that public works crews are considered essential. You will still see road work happening on a lot of the state roadways. For the local and the county roadways, and working with the county executive, we've made the decision here in the city, and the county has also made the decision to keep our crews currently off of road sites in order to help prevent the spread. That may change in the next few weeks as we evaluate what's going on. But right now, our major concern is stopping the spread as quickly as possible.
Now, unfortunately, during this time, it seems like there is a lot of misinformation out there, especially on Facebook. What's the best way for residents to stay in the know about Jamestown's response to the outbreak?
Well, if you're on social media, we always recommend that you follow our Facebook or Twitter pages. We also communicate through many different methods here in the city. We often use the newspaper, we often use the radio stations, and then you can always call the mayor's office if you have any additional questions. I'll tell you, I get a lot of messages on social media, and we try to respond to each and every one to make sure people understand what's happening here in the city.
And certainly, you guys, I think officials across the board, for me, I would have to say, are doing a very good job of trying to keep everybody calm and keep things as normal as we possibly can, because these changes that we've had in our life. I know a lot of people, especially when it comes to school-aged kids now, it was such a disruption, especially last week when it's like, okay, now everybody has to stay home if you're considered to be non-essential business. So it certainly was a big change, it seemed like.
It absolutely was a big change, but the one thing I can say is I have a fantastic team behind me that is over-prepared for the things that come our way. We've been ready for this. We've been working on this, and it's been great to work in conjunction, even with the school district, to help make that call to close the schools, but also ensure that our students have meals, that they have education, and that we have daycare for our residents here in the city. We have gone into this saying we need to partner, we need to make sure we're ready, and I am entirely confident that the city of Jamestown is really ready for any crisis that may come, even after this virus.
Yeah, certainly. And a programming note for our viewers, the superintendent of Jamestown Public Schools, Dr. Brett Athorpe, will be here tomorrow on the broadcast talking a little bit more about how they're continuing to work through this, keeping students educated and making sure that good resources are available for them there as well. Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist joining us today. Sir, thank you so much. It's really important to keep people informed, and we appreciate your time.
Happy to be here. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Let's get a check of our forecast now with Dakota. Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Justin, and I just got to say, the mayor has a swank-looking home office. I like that office back there. That looks awesome. It does. Anyway, here's another thing that looks awesome. How about this? We had a lot of sunshine last night, and that allowed us to see the sunset over Chautauqua Lake. Thanks to Caitlin for sending this in to us. Man, we need this. I mean, after all the stuff that's been going on, we need this to just look at this and relax and calm down for a minute. So thanks to Caitlin for sending that in. That's something we all needed. And talking about numbers here, we actually did this calculation today. Winter has been mild by a long shot. We have had, since December 1st, 74 above average days here, essentially here in the city of Jamestown. We've had 41 below average days since December 1st. So the winter has been mild, and it looks like the mild pattern will likely continue for at least the first part of spring here, at least looking at the longer range stuff. And like Tom Petty, we're free falling here. Look at Friday at 64, and then we just fell right down a cliff to 32 on Saturday, and we're starting to go back up now. Yesterday we were at 50 degrees yesterday, so we're starting to return back to warmer temperatures again. This is a new graphic we created since the kids are home. Hey, how about lunch? 12:30, we'll be around 55, 56 degrees. There'll be a few more clouds. We think the clouds will start thickening up here probably within the next half hour to at least the next hour here as the clouds associated with this start to come our way. There's our cold front. This front's going to be moving through tonight, and that will trigger off the chance for showers, especially overnight tonight. You can see really not a whole lot of cloud cover across the southern tier right now. All right, let's show you future scan here. Dry through the majority of the afternoon. As we get into this evening and tonight, as that cold front drops in, you can see the showers starting to spark here from west to east. They will ultimately taper off tomorrow morning shower. Then we might break out into areas of possibly even full sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Although it's going to be cooler, though, that cold front will drag in cooler air, but who cares? The sunshine will help make it to be a little bit warmer. Looking at the weekend, we've been hinting this throughout much of this week. This is going to be the more impactful storm system here. Storm system passing to our northwest in the upper Great Lakes region will throw us widespread rain Saturday and Sunday. As it stands right now, the heaviest of the rain will likely be Saturday here. Notice all these darker colors, the yellow, the reds indicate the heavier amounts of that starts to indicate the heavier amounts of rain. Then as this low pressure area moves up into Canada, we'll still be left with on again, off again showers through the day on Sunday. We're likely looking at about 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch of rain, combined both days. So that's something we still need to fine tune, and it will be mild as well with temperatures in the upper 40s to 50s. So 38 to 42 tonight, developing rain showers. It remains mild through the overnight and lighter winds. It won't be as breezy. Now The next 7 days of your life are coming up on the screen. 48 degrees tomorrow, 46 on Saturday. That'll be our cooler day. We warm up to 61 on Sunday. That might be a falling temperature, though. That still needs to be determined there. And it also turns very windy as well. A few scattered rain showers Monday. A dry day Tuesday, 48. A few scattered showers on Wednesday out ahead of another developing storm system. We hinted this in web weather last night, talking about the chance for another impactful storm maybe Thursday and Friday of next week. But that's out in Voodoo Country. We'll keep you updated on that. Jay?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
This is PJ Wendell, Chautauqua County Executive, with an important message. We are in the midst of a global pandemic, and it is inevitable that there will be cases of COVID-19 in our community. We are preparing for this reality and how it will affect our county. I'm greatly concerned about the economic impact that the closure of local businesses is having on our owners, operators, and employees, but we need to make every effort to protect our residents and our healthcare workers. These strategies decrease the opportunity for people to be in close contact with each other and spread disease. If you absolutely do not need to go out, please don't. Thank you.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. It's no secret that staying active is good for us, but it can also relieve some of stress that maybe we're having because we're staying home and unfortunately consuming a lot of information about COVID-19. Mandy Gaithner with some tips now on how to keep us moving in an attempt to relieve some of this stress and anxiety.
Being stuck at home can drive anyone crazy, so get up off that couch and get moving. While it's recommended you stay at least 6 feet away from others, that doesn't mean you can't go outdoors. A family hike or a jog in the fresh air will do you some good. You can also go in the backyard and play with your kids. It's a great way to keep everyone active. Staying indoors doesn't mean you have to sit around. You can get your heart pumping at home. There are many free exercise videos out there on YouTube or social media. Or download a workout app. Many of them offer free trials and don't require any equipment. Some gyms like Planet Fitness are streaming free classes online, or you can simply move around your house more, walk up and down the stairs, do exercises during commercials, walk some laps, anything to keep you going instead of staying stationary. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, Mandy, thank you very much. There are also some great resources posted online with plenty of activities that you can do at home. Several zoos and national parks are also now offering virtual tours and field trips. Some are also streaming live on social media, and we can find some fun videos to take a break from some of this COVID-19 information that is out there. Albeit very important, but we want to remind you that it's important too to make sure you're feeling okay and continue to try to stay positive through this venture. We thank you so much for joining us here on WNY News Now. Got to say hello to Robert, Tammy, Mike. Good to see you, Butch. Good afternoon to Jesse, Rosie, Ellie, Lori, and Amy as well. Hopefully you're all having a good day. And Robert chimes in. He says, no new cases, but if testing criteria is so strict due to the number of tests, wonder if there would be any new reports. And that's right, Robert. County officials blatantly telling us earlier this week that they do expect more cases. In fact, they expect there to be more cases out there right now that they don't 100% know about because of the lack of testing. But as we move forward through time, into next week and the week beyond even, they expect that more tests will become available from federal officials. It's got that trickle-down effect from Washington, D.C. to New York State to here. And a lot of times, and it seems like, I'm willing to call this out, that the system's a little off because if you don't have that many cases, you generally don't get that many test kits, according to Health Director Christine Schuyler. So as we continue to get more cases, they'll put more resources in this area, and then we'll be able to test more. So she says, at this point, just assume that if you're sick, even if they can't test it, it could be the novel coronavirus. If you're in good health, rest and staying home is one of the best medicines. make sure that you continue to talk to your doctor and alert them to how you're feeling and what you're feeling, because if things do become a lot worse and progress, you should reach out to them and they should see you in some sort of manner. A lot of times now, even FaceTime type medicine is available for people. So if you can, reach out to your doctor and they'll have a lot more information as well. The reason they're leaving it up to doctors to decide whether or not the test is there is because it's a lot easier, according to county officials, to say doctors have that discretion, right? My doctor knows who I am and what I feel and what pre-existing things I may have, so they can work better to treat that. And that's the idea here in this specific instance. Got to say hello to Lori, hello to Deborah as well. We thank you all so much for joining us. That's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Download our mobile app, subscribe to breaking news, push notifications, and we'll keep you updated with the facts over the fear. We're back tomorrow. We'll see you then.